Hey everybody, welcome to our next lecture, which is covering the area of sales promotion and its relationship with integrated marketing communications, presented by Associate Professor David Gray on behalf of Charles Sturt University. We have a look at some of the learning objectives that we're going to examine during this lecture. We're going to have a look at the role of sales promotion. Look at its objectives, the types of sales promotion, the different kinds of problems and abuse by companies in relation to sales promotion, and also have a look at some of the research data. You'll notice that there are quite a number of significant differences between what the Belts chapter has to discuss and the content of this lecture, so please take note. So you can see the overall map here. We look at the different objectives of sales promotion, whether it's trade oriented, its growth, the different kinds of promotions, whether it's events, sampling, coupons, premiums, etc. We'll go through each of these as we go through the lecture. A good example of sales promotion is the Coke campaign, which ran for many years, on how many ways you can share a Coke. I mean, the basic objectives of this campaign were to increase Coke consumption and to also increase engagement with the Coke brand. So some of the major tactics used were printing Coke printing 150 of the most common names on Coke labels. And so Coke did a little bit of research and found out what the most common names were. Also developing personalized Coke cans, and they sent these Coke cans to local celebrities. They used the famous sign at King's Cross to project Coke names. They also established a Westfield Coke kiosk, which actually printed out the names of different people. And then they ran a campaign on Facebook to develop a number of new names, and as a result 50 new names were added to the program. I'd like you to watch this short YouTube video about what Coke did during the specific campaign. So you can see that campaign and all of the different aspects to promote the Coke brand was pretty successful. So we have a look at what sales promotion is, what we mean by it. We're talking about a direct inducement that offers an extra value or incentive for the product to the sales force, distributors, or the ultimate consumer, with the primary objective of creating an immediate sale. So there's an extra incentive to buy or a tool to speed up sales, and it's targeted to different parties. Let's have a look at some of the major research findings over recent years. So there was a major study conducted called Sales Promotions Models. It's in the Handbook of Operations Research and Management Science, which said essentially between 1997 and 2011, in the packaged goods industry, 75% of marketing expenditure for US packaged goods was for promotion, with only 25% for advertising. In 2011, 58% of the budget was spent on promotion to the trade, that is, from manufacturers to retailers, and 15% was spent on manufacturer promotions to consumers. So we also know that sales promotions are a key marketing tool in communications programs, and there is some evidence found that they also influence, those kinds of promotions influence brand equity. However, there's different kinds of promotional tools, such as monetary and non-monetary promotions, which can have different effects on sales profitability and brand equity. And let's have a look at, in more detail, some of the research. For example, monetary promotions. Let's think about what they include. We mean price discounts, mainly price discounts and coupons. And so some of the evidence says that monetary promotions have a negative impact on brand equity. And there's been quite a bit of research in this area. On the other hand, non-monetary promotions include free gifts, samples, sweepstakes, context. They're becoming much more important in terms of their use as a promotional strategy. So we see with monetary promotions, essentially they're relating to what we call utilitarian benefits, whereas non-monetary promotions relate to hedonic benefits. And these kind of benefits include hedonic benefits include such things as entertainment, exploration, are similar to experiential emotions, pleasure and self-esteem. Non-monetary promotions seem to evoke more associations related to brand personality, enjoyable experience, feelings and emotions. And you'll see some of the references below for this research. Now this is quite a detailed slide, and I won't go over everything in this particular slide, but it looks at the effects of sales promotion on buying behavior. So even as early as 1995, we saw the impact of promotions on sales is usually immediate and strong. So we know that the promotional status of a previous purchase can also influence brand choice through purchase event feedback. So we see that Bijmolt et al. In 2005 found that a 20% temporary price cut led to a 73% increase in sales. And that is, there's a negative elasticity of 3.63 between sales promotion and actual sales behavior. However, there's a number of researchers who have also examined the advantages and disadvantages of discounts compared to other promotional strategies, and they looked at the concept which is used by a number of retailers here in Australia, such as everyday low prices and free gift promotions. So this study by Dark and Chung back in 2005 showed that free gift offers maintained quality perceptions of the brand, and that everyday low prices were less effective in this respect. Also, free gifts provided a useful alternative for conveying value to consumers. So one of these studies, Bridges, Bresch and Yin in 2006 found that prior brand purchases moderate the consumer response to promotions. So in other words, they could have used the product before, or the promotion could also enhance. And actually, promotions reducing subsequent brand loyalty due to increased sensitivity to marketing mixes. So one of the things here that comes about, one of the research findings, is that those organisations which rely on price discounts tend to get a quick fix, but it doesn't really help brand equity. Some of the potential negative effects of sales promotion and brand loyalty. So we know that some promotion activities can have indirect effects on brand loyalty through customer satisfaction, which in turn affects brand loyalty. So most researchers, however, claim that sales promotions yield negative effects, including price sensitivity, brand switching, and low repeat purchase rates. So the argument is that consumers use price as an extrinsic cue to infer product quality. So I think the message is that if you're going to use sales promotions, and particularly a monetary kind, you need to be really careful about the impact it has on switching. So in other words, it might lure customers in for a short-term basis, but it could have a negative impact on your long-term brand equity. So I think even as far back as 1992, Diamond showed that heavy coupon users' loyalty is to the next coupon, not to the product or the brand. So it's kind of, you get coupons from the big retailers like Coles and Woolworths. You know, you're relying on the impact of the next coupon to keep the level of sales up. It's almost like you have to be continually discounting in order to keep sales going, but it doesn't mean that you increase loyalty. Also, some of the potential negative effects of sales promotion and brand loyalty. So even Hardesty and Bearden back in 2003 showed that price discounts have traditionally been the dominant form of consumer promotion. Consumers are aware and often expect price deals, and therefore simply lowering prices is often problematic. So we see with Look and Yip, the buying behaviour of less committed consumers is mainly promotional driven. We see Fogel and Thornton. Consumers are hassle-free disposed when it comes to participating in sales promotion. Promotions such as rebates were considered too difficult to redeem due to the higher effort involved. So you really need to think about the kind of promotion that you get involved in to make it as easy as possible and not introduce any complicating factors. So of course there are positive effects of sales promotions on brand loyalty. I mean, some promotions add value to the product, such as premiums, bonus packs, samples and sweepstakes, while others, such as discounts, just merely reduce the cost. So we know that there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages, and I think the point here is that you have to be careful about what kind of promotion, when you use it, and so to consider these factors overall. So you'll notice also that there have been quite a lot of studies done during the 90s and the early 2000s, but there's not so much research which has been done as of the last 3 or 4 years, and I think that they've resolved the fact that they understand what's happening with these kind of sales promotions, and so I think the interest in researching these areas has died down a little bit. So let's have a look at how sales promotions are targeted. I mean, they can be targeted at retailers through using trade-oriented sales promotions. So in other words, basically what I'm trying to do is to get the retailers to sell more by offering them incentives. Or they can be targeted at actual consumers through consumer-oriented sales promotions, such as discounts and vouchers directly to consumers. So with consumer-oriented sales promotion, we have samples, coupons, premiums, sweepstakes, refunds, bonus packs, price-off deals, loyalty programs, and event marketing. And these have been used by a wide variety of organisations, both in the services industry as well as the consumer packaged goods. The trade-oriented programs include contests, dealer incentives, holidays, trade allowances, point of purchase displays, providing money for training, organising trade shows, or cooperative advertising. So there's a vast range of sales promotion vehicles used to incentivise either consumers or the individual members of the trade. So here we have a couple of examples when Heineken ran a program called Kick Live. This is in the textbook. And also the program run by the NRMA to focus on building a car out of parts that other companies don't insure. So here we get to the timing versus quantity aspects of sales promotions. Sales promotions, they come in two types. One is that you can have this incentive but only for a short period of time, or you can have it in terms of a limited quantity. It's only for the first 100 customers. So this is basically about presenting a scarcity message, getting people to act in a certain time period, or for a selected group of customers. So when we have a look at the overall impact of sales promotion in integrated marketing communications programs, so as we said before, that marketeers, particularly in the packaged goods area, spend most of their budgets on sales promotion, with the rest being spent on advertising. We know there's a lot of money being spent on sales promotion, and it's been growing over recent years. We see that sales promotion, the majority, is developed as part of an overall marketing strategy. Some of the reasons for the growth. So the changing economic conditions, there's more competition, so retailers have to try more to win particular customers. Manufacturers have to try more to get their products through to the retailers. We know that there's a declining brand loyalty, and this has been going on over the last 20 years. There's been a big increase in the proliferation of brands, which means it's been getting harder for manufacturers and also for retailers to get their ideas through. So they need to incentivize either consumers or the trade to buy their products. So some people are concerned about the increased role of sales promotion. We know that sales promotion can generate immediate sales. However, there are a lot of marketeers who are worried about the effect of sales promotion on their long-term brand equity. And so I think the argument is that yes, I can increase sales in the short term, but maybe at the expense of brand equity over the longer term. I mean, there are a few studies which show that brand equity over the long term does increase. However, I think that there are many more studies which show that brand equity can have a negative impact on the long-term effect of brand equity. So we see that sales promotion. The sales promotion agency roles over evolution, an evolutionary period have probably over the last 20 years or so have changed. So the traditional role was used to develop short-term tactics and concepts. However, now they're used to develop long and short-term promotional strategies as well as tactics. Agencies were usually hired on a project-by-project basis, but now they're hired on an annual retainer. So basically, you've seen an increase in sales promotions agencies becoming much more involved in the strategic direction of organisations. Typical kind of process that you go through in terms of sales promotion is to identify, firstly, the target audiences. So who exactly is the person or the organisation to which I want to apply these sales promotions? And so some of the typical objectives are we want people or organisations to trial or repurchase these particular products. So that can be a very real objective, and this is particularly so, the trialling could be particularly heavy in relation to new product development as well. The standard objective might be to increase consumption. Another objective might be to defend our current customers against competitive threats. Or we may want to target a specific market segment. Or just to try and, over the longer term, build brand equity. The critical thing, though, is that we have to set measurable goals. Now, the good thing about sales promotion is that we can actually measure the effect of any campaign on sales promotion. So it's pretty easy to measure the short-term impact, but it's not so easy to measure the longer-term impact. In other words, if I conduct a series of sales promotions during the first 6 months of this year, will it have any impact next year or the year after? That's not so easy to measure. So we saw that a couple of examples of different kinds of sales promotions. One dealt, and this is in the textbook, one dealt with Renault and the Australian Grand Prix, and another one where Bollywood was recruiting clean shaven men. So if we have a look at, and I notice we're mainly focusing on packaged goods. The textbook mainly focuses on packaged goods manufacturers in relation to consumer promotions. But the services industry is also becoming more involved in the use of sales promotion tools as well. And some of the same tools can apply. So the major tools used in the manufacturing area are couponing, where almost all, if not all, organisations use some kind of couponing direct to the consumer. There's discount promotions, couponing in store, sampling, premium offers, sweepstakes, internet promotions, contests, and these have all been widely used for the past 20 or 30 years. If we talk about sampling, so when does sampling work best? When the products are relatively low in unit value. And I mean, the idea is pretty straightforward. The samples don't cost much, so I can afford, or organisations can afford, to put a lot of samples out there for organisations to trial the products. Also, sampling works best when the products are divisible and can be broken down into small sizes. And also, the purchase cycle is relatively short, so the consumer can purchase in a relatively short time period. So sampling has been used for a long period of time and quite successfully. Some of the methods of sampling: door-to-door, direct mail, in-store sampling, packaging, event sampling, within magazines and newspapers, and also through the internet. Coupons have been used, and they are the oldest and most widely used sales promotion tool. One of the best known examples is the shopper docket. So you go to any Woolworths or Coles store and you'll get a whole series of shopper dockets when you can use them, or in the Good Food Guide, etc. And they're used by virtually all packaged goods manufacturers and also quite a number of service organisations as well. Let's talk about some of the advantages. Every form of sales promotion has advantages and disadvantages. So the coupons appeal to price-sensitive consumers. They can offer price breaks without retailers' cooperation, and they can induce trial, and they can help defend market share. Some of the disadvantages, however, though, that some are difficult to determine how many consumers will use the coupons. Now, I think for the large retail stores, over a period of time, they collect data in terms of what's being used, so they can actually get a pretty good handle. But for smaller organisations, this is not so easy to collect this kind of information. So coupons, another disadvantage is that coupons are often used by loyal consumers who may purchase anyway. So basically all they're doing is getting an extra price discount, but there's no increase in overall purchase behaviour. So we also know that couponing can cost a lot of money, and there can also be fraud based in the process, having false fraudulent coupons as well. Premiums. When we think about the different kinds of premiums, think about what a premium is. It's an offer of an item of merchandise or service, either free or at a low cost. That is an extra incentive for customers. Okay, and so whether you're looking at McDonald's Happy Meals and the additional items you can get out of a Happy Meal, or you open a packet of Kellogg's cornflakes and you get a little toy, etc., these are all kinds of premiums. So you can have free premiums or self-liquidating premiums, and so that where the consumer has to pay some or all of the cost of the premium. So the free premiums, basically you get a free premium when you only have to purchase the product itself. So we know contests and sweepstakes, very widely used. Think about a contest, a promotion where consumers compete for prizes or money on the basis of skills or ability. Winners are determined by judging entries or ascertaining which entry comes closest to some predetermined criteria. Think about sweepstakes and games, a promotion where winners are determined purely by chance and cannot require a proof of purchase as a condition of entry. Winners are chosen by random selection from a pool of entries or generation of a number of matches. I mean, recently you had sweepstakes, from what I can remember, in Suzuki. It launched its new model of a Swift, and they had a promotion if you entered and you selected which aspect of the Suzuki you liked, and if you entered into this sweepstakes, you had the chance of winning a new Suzuki Swift. Like everything, like every other form of sales promotion, there are problems with contests and sweepstakes. Often it's been said that they don't contribute to brand building, they don't focus on the brand, they're not that effective. There are some legal considerations. They can also generate negative publicity, and they can be used by professionals or hobbyists to game the system. So some of the strategies which can be used to improve the return on promotions. It could be that, there are 10 items here. The first one basically says that you can offer a popular grand prize. So if you offer something that people really want, it may be, for example, you offer a new iPhone or a new kind of television set, something which most people will want, that may have a better chance of succeeding. So when there's a good chance of winning, so consumers are more likely to enter into something where they have a greater chance of winning, and where there's more than one prize, where they have regular prize draws, and it's easy to participate, understand, and you receive instant gratification. And also the way that you communicate the offer is pretty important as well. So you're focusing on the promotion and not the brand. However, that can also have negative consequences on the long-term ability of the promotions to affect brand equity. So, other popular types of consumer sales promotion tools, you can have bonus packs, refunds, promotional products, and loyalty programs. I mean, loyalty programs have been used for a long time, and we all know about the Qantas frequent flyer program, and that kind of program has been around for a long time. However, consumers seem to be becoming less sensitive to these kind of programs as the basis of the reward mechanism declines over time. In other words, even if you look at the Woolworths or Coles reward systems, you have to spend an awful lot of money to receive any kind of award. And so I think consumers are getting used to the fact as to how much money they need to spend in order to collect the rewards offered by these loyalty programs or these coupon programs. Some of an example of the loyalty programs is the Cinebuzz Club, when you can join this club and amongst moviegoers. Event marketing, particularly whether it's around a sporting event, etc., can make a great deal of difference, and is often used by cosmetics companies and so with celebrities coming to Australia around particular events or concerts, etc. So we see event marketing as promotion where a company or a brand is linked to an event, or where a themed activity is developed for the purpose of creating experiences for consumers and promoting a product or service. Then there's event sponsorship. So it's where a company develops a sponsorships relationship, whether it's the Olympic Games or Grand Finals or Bledisloe Cup or any of these major events. They all have sponsors and they all pay a lot of money in order to become sponsors to these events. And the organisations are targeting these events because they realise that their target audiences attend these events. So that's why they do it. So when we have a look at a summary of promotions and market objectives, so on the left-hand side we have there can be immediate benefits or delayed benefits, and the marketing objectives. First objective is to induce trial, and how do we get consumers to consumers to induce trial? We can sample the product, have instant coupons, in-store coupons, or in-store rebates. With a delayed response, it may be that we have media or mail-delivered coupons, mail-in refunds, or scanner or internet-delivered coupons. Another marketing objective is to retain customers. You can have price-off deals, bonus packs, loyalty programs. For a delayed response, we have in and on-package coupons and mail refunds and loyalty programs. Well, another marketing objective may be to support the integrated marketing communications program to build long-term brand equity. So we can have events, free premiums, we can have self-liquidating premiums, contest sweepstakes, or loyalty programs. And all of these kinds of consumer reward incentives are used on a regular basis by a wide range of organisations. Let's talk about trade-oriented sales promotions. So with the trade-oriented promotions, the idea is that we're trying to push through the product, through the supply chain, and that's why we do it. So it may be that we're trying to obtain distribution of new products, to build retail inventories, to maintain trade support for existing products, or to encourage retailers to display existing brands. So we give them money or non-money incentives to push the products through the supply chain, and that's the main reason we have trade-oriented sales promotions. So some of the typical promotions are contests, allowances, point of sale purchase, cooperative advertising, sales training, trade shows. And with the trade allowances, there can be buying allowances, such as a promotional allowance or what we call a slotting allowance. So it may be, if we have a look at different kinds of promotion targeted to resellers, so we can have promotions targeted around product or program sales, such as you might receive an award for selling a specified number of cases, or a certain number of units, or a number of promotional programs, or you may get an award for the number of new accounts that you place, or for your own merchandising efforts, such as establishing promotional programs or placing display racks, counted displays, and the like. There are a large number of possibilities used in the trade to get people to resell and sell more. And we talk about cooperative advertising. So we're talking about a vertical through the supply chain, where a manufacturer might provide funds to a wholesaler to stock their particular products, or a wholesaler may provide a retailer to stock particular products. So it could be that, for example, there's an arrangement between cooperative advertising where an input supplier to computers links up with a computer supplier to help improve the sales opportunities for that particular computer supplier. There has been a lot of abuse in relation to sales promotion. Overuse of sales promotion can, as some of the research that we've looked at earlier showed, that it can be detrimental to a brand. If I keep constantly promoting, running sales promotions all the time, it's possible that consumers think less of the brand in terms of its overall value. And it may be the consumers end up purchasing a brand because it's on sale and they get a premium or they have a coupon, rather than their own instinctive attraction to the brand itself. Right? And so the problem here is that if there are no promotional incentives, then consumers are much more likely to switch brands if those organisations which are overly dependent on sales promotion. So the trap is, think about what other companies do and what your company does in relation to sales promotion. So let's say that all other companies cut back on promotions and you cut back on promotions, then everyone makes more money. However, what happens if all other companies cut back promotions and you maintain? Then hopefully you're able to increase market share. And the same thing goes with advertising expenditure as well. If all other companies maintain promotions and you cut back, their market share goes up and yours falls. If you both maintain promotions, then nothing changes much. It's kind of the maintenance of the status quo and profits stay low. So in overall summary, there's been a big increase over the past couple of decades in sales promotions. The majority of money spent, particularly in the manufacturing industry, by marketeers is on sales promotion. Sales promotion techniques can be consumer or trade oriented. They include There are a great many techniques, including sampling, coupons, premiums, competitions, rebates, and refunds. And I think the important thing for marketeers to realise is that if they become too dependent on sales promotion, it can be at the expense of brand equity. Thanks for watching this video, and next week we'll look at the next topic. Thanks again. Bye for now.